Now back in September 2025, we drove over 2,500 miles across America on Route 66. And here are our top 10 travel tips. So we've just got to the pier and we're about to finish Route 66.
Yay! Tip number 1.
Now for tip number 1, we're going to tell you to slow down. And it's an adventure, it's not a race. And it sounds simple, right? Well, we thought that, and we still caught ourselves out rushing through stops that we waited months to see. So just bear that in mind and slow down.
Tip number 2.
And for tip number 2, we're going to say give yourself enough time. And if you can, give yourself around the 3-week mark, because most pre-put together itineraries from the travel agents are based around the 2 weeks. And yes, you can do it in that time, but if you give yourself as much time as possible, remember, you're driving across America, you're not popping to the shops.
Tip number 3.
And for tip number 3, we're going to say order your Route 66 passport from home. If you're wanting to collect those stamps along the route, and make sure you get that passport. We've watched so many people thinking they're going to get it in the first stop and fail because it's closed, and then the next stop's closed, and etc, etc. Order it at home, then you've got it.
Tip number 4.
And tip number 4, for many reasons, you won't see everything. And I promise you, however hard you will try, you will not see everything. You'll only stress yourself out. And remember tip number 1, slow down. And just bear in mind as well, a lot of these small town stops and shops, they're run by volunteers, so the opening times are really weird. So there's a small quirky place you want to see that you've seen on YouTube and you desperately want to visit, just check the opening days and times. Trust me, you'll thank me later.
Tip number 5.
Now for tip number 5, we've got try to be as flexible with your itinerary. Again, remember it's an adventure, so more time you give yourself, the more flexibility you'll have and the least amount of stress. And it all equals a bloody good trip.
Tip number 6.
Tip number 6 is research, research and more research. Honestly, you will thank yourself when you're there. We did loads, and honestly it took the stress away from the trip so much, and it gave us a lot more time to enjoy it. Things you could think about is looking up opening days and times of places you want to visit, if you need tickets or not to pre-book any events, especially if you're visiting from the UK or Europe. Has your hotel got parking? If so, how much? Try to get rid of some of them hidden costs. Where you're staying, i.e. if there's anything that's in that town that's special, any history that you're not aware of. You never know, you might stumble across something special.
Tip number 7.
And tip number 7 is make the most of the small towns, especially the small stops. We came across some that were extremely busy, and well, some that wasn't busy at all. We tried to buy a little something from the not so busy ones and made sure we had a good old chat with the person running it. You'll find they've got stories for days. And honestly, some of those chats were sometimes weird stories, but I'm telling you, they were the biggest highlights of the whole trip.
Tip number 8.
Now tip number 8 is maps and apps, people. Maps and apps. So although Route 66 is quite well trodden, and you're not going to be too far away from seeing the next car or the town or a next service station, you are going to find mobile service in some places a luxury. And we found a great way around this is to run Google Maps on one phone, and then we had the Route 66 app, which runs solely on GPS and can run offline on the other. Now if you're a solo trip, you can run Route 66 app in the background, because essentially you're not following a map, it's just listening out on when to turn or to keep going straight.
At the next stoplight, veer left onto Ogden Avenue.
Tip number 9.
Now tip number 9 is an American phone. And what I mean by that is an American phone number. Now this is one for the guys and girls coming from the UK and Europe. So for some reason our provider was going to charge us a bucket load of money for using our phones in the US. So we got a monthly eSIM plan for our internet, and I think we used Saley for that one. And our phone calls, we actually went to Target and bought a $25 flip phone with a month's worth of calls and texts on. And the guy in Target set it up for us. It was really easy, and to be honest, it come in so handy for us. And before you say it, yes, it does sound a bit long-winded, and you're probably thinking, why didn't you just use your phones and pay the charge? Well, it was a ton cheaper doing it this way. And let's be honest, we're all hitting up Target when we get there.
Tip number 10.
Now, tip number 10 is you can't drive the whole of Route 66. Boo, I know. Right, I've left this one till last because no, it's not fun, but it's true. You cannot drive the whole of the old Route 66 if you're doing it in 2 or 3 weeks. Take it from a guy who was so excited to drive the whole of the old route and have an intention of giving the highway the bird. Let's just say we found it out the hard way the first few days. To be honest, you're going to drive most of it anyway, and parts you flip back and forth from the highway. You're not really missing much anyway. There are people out there that say, yeah, we drove the whole thing, the whole route and blah blah blah. Well, it's lies. I'm telling you now, they didn't drive the whole route. If they did, they went hell for leather and they didn't really see much. Relax, you will drive a lot of it. It will be a lot of open road. You'll enjoy it, but don't get your hopes up of driving the whole of the old route. Be aware, you will flip back and forth to the highway. It is really, really useful.
And your bonus tip is?
And the bonus tip is not really a tip, but it worked well for us, and that is start your day early. Get yourself on the road. Get yourself an early start, which means you've got a longer day. You can get to those breakfast spots. You can stop and smell the roses, have those conversations, take those pictures you want to take, and your time's all right. Anyway, I hope this was helpful and you can take at least 1 or 2 of the tips away. And remember, it's an adventure, and if you're doing it this year for the 100th, good luck. It's going to be great. You're going to love it. Enjoy. See you on the next one.